There are two things that I want to show in this particular example. One of them is the mathematical objective of performing operations and rounding our results to the required or stated accuracy or precision. And the other thing I want to show are some other help features that are embedded inside of your problems. Most students like view an example. This one's down here at the bottom. Obviously, you can also do ask my instructor. That's how I received this particular question. I don't see that on my end because I'm logging in as a teacher right here, right now. But one kind of underutilized resource is this one. Help me solve this. So we're going to go through this example this way. It kind of breaks down the problem into the process of steps that are needed to get to this final result. So we're asked to estimate the result to using one significant digit approximations for each number. Sometimes when we round, we may immediately think of rounding to a certain place value. So for instance, we may say, okay, 12.16 rounds to 12. This value rounds to 3. This value would round up to 5. And let's go with that for just a moment. When we click check our answer, it gives us some feedback. And in this case, it tells us that at least one of our answers is incorrect. Check your calculations carefully. When I see feedback like this, the first thing that comes to mind, and the first thing I want you to think of that comes to mind, is to check the surrounding requirements for this rounding. Or whatever else my math lab may be saying. So in this particular case, it says estimate the results, use one significant digit. However, right here, when we rounded 12.16 to 12, we have two significant digits. So that value is actually going to be rounded to the nearest tens place in order to be a value with just one significant digit. So we get the value here, 10. Now let's check our answer, and we've done that step correct. Again, I just wanted to show that particular resource as well as the math content about rounding to a significant digit. At this step, we can just perform the indicated operations. Since we're adding and subtracting, we can go from left to right. 10 plus 3 is 13. 13 minus 5 gives us 8. So here I've just moved along to the next part. And so in this part, we're asked to approximate the result of the calculation. And it says specifically when approximate numbers are added or subtracted, the result is expressed with the precision of the least precise number. So precision is a matter of place value. In this particular number, we see 2 decimal places, or 2 values behind the decimal place. In this next number, we see 4, and the last number we see 3. So the least precise would have 2 decimal places, or 2 values behind the decimal place. Those 2 round to 2 decimal places then is the precision that's going to be required for part B. We're first asked to perform the calculations without rounding. Remember, these are within Help Me Solve This. You may be doing additional steps, but they're the steps that you need to do in order to get to the final problem answer. So I just came over here to a calculator earlier, just one of the many free online calculators that are available. I've typed in the full problem and compute, and this is the value that I'm going to place inside my math lab. Sometimes some of these calculators will let you copy, Control C or and Control V, paste into the box for my math lab. Now the last step is to round this to 2 decimal places. So we see 10.42. To round, we look at the next digit, 0. So we round down just to 10.42. And that's they say fairly close. The estimated results fairly close to the calculated results. Close is relative, so we could talk about that later. But at that point, that's those values that you see here that you would input. On your problem, what it may do is mark those wrong. Okay. And that's not uncommon, or expect that to happen rather, when you do Help Me Solve This, because Help Me Solve This is walking you through the given problem for credit. So all you have to do is come down here to the bottom. If it doesn't already give you the option, click similar answer, or similar problem rather, and then you can start another similar problem on your own for credit.